everyone, so I'm gonna make a pretty short video today. This is a Gen 4 ZX10R. I just wanted to cover it since I haven't covered one yet. It is a 2014 ZX10. Right now I am installing a Sprint P08. I just took out the OEM air filter and you can see how filthy these air boxes get, and it does not have a lot of miles. The bike only has about 6,000 miles on it, 7,000 miles. So here, I'll show you the difference here too. We've got the OEM air filter, which obviously it's pretty filthy, pretty disgusting. But if you notice, and we'll hold it up to some light here, you can't really see through it at all. And here, I'll show you the difference between that. And then here is a Sprint P08 air filter. Now look at the difference. You can see right through it. See my fingers? So we're gonna throw that in there and go ahead and start with the ECU flash and dyno tune. It has not been done yet. I'm gonna do some baselines with the Sprint P08. I just wanted to show you guys, we do wipe it all down prior to install. So it's not like we're throwing in a brand new air filter with a really dirty system. So we are gonna go ahead, I'm gonna throw the Sprint in there. I have to wire the ECU. Here's the ECU on a Gen 4 ZX10. It's actually in the airbox, which is kind of strange, but it's where Kawasaki decided to put them this for 2011 through 2015. So I'm gonna wire this up, get it ready for the ECU flash and dyno tune, and after that, we're gonna start the tuning process. But yeah, this thing looks brand new still. Very, very low mileage. Very nice bike. Just completed the baseline. As you can see, run 0. All right, so 160.62 wheel horsepower at 11,790 RPM. And then the max torque was 73.95, that's like 74 foot-pounds at 10,460 RPM. So similar to that Gixxer 1000 that I posted, this is a really good full throttle air fuel. I shouldn't say very good, but it's pretty dang good considering the modifications that were done with the air filter and the slip-on exhaust. But notice up top here, it does something similar. So 2011 to 2015, actually more than that, but the 2011 through 2015 ZX10Rs, they had secondary throttle plates, and they shut down the secondary throttle plates after, let's see, about 11,800 or so RPM we're at. So the secondary throttle plates start to close off, thus limiting their top end horsepower. So we should see a pretty drastic increase, probably same thing, about 20 to 30 wheel horsepower change in this area with the final tune. Now with the bench flash or the base map, we should see probably closer only about 15 to 20 wheel jump. And then again, we should see a pretty decent jump in torque too. People come in, they complain that the bike feels sluggish. The low end power band coming up to mid-range is not as smooth as they want it to be. There's some hesitation, bogging, etc., etc. That's because the bike is running lean. It runs really lean when you increase the airflow with an air filter, with a slip-on exhaust. When you increase that airflow with these things, you have to basically balance out the equation. So the stock ECU thinks you're running on a stock air filter and a stock exhaust system. So when you change those two things, you increase the air coming in to the engine and you increase the airflow going out of the engine. So we have to basically compensate that with fueling, and there's some other things to make the power band smoother, but fueling is one of the primary things to fix so that you can get the smooth on throttle response. And a lot of times people kind of skip over this. A lot of the mapping that I do isn't showing up on a graph, or it's very hard to show you, because it's hard to hit 40% throttle or 30% throttle back to back to back to show you an accurate difference between those two throttle settings, or between the differences in the two maps, I should say, whenever you make those changes. So needless to say, there's still some things to fix on this. There's a bunch to fix on the partial throttle mapping. So we're gonna go ahead and do all of that. So I'm actually very surprised at what this thing laid out for a bench flash slash base map here. We laid out 179.42 horsepower at 12,820 RPM and then a max torque of 76.51 foot-pounds at 10,200 RPM. And if you look, this is what I'm talking about. Those monster jumps, those monster gains right here at the top. So we went from 149 to 170, basically 178. So we're at 29 wheel horsepower jump and about, let's see, 12 foot-pounds of torque gain, if you can see that. It went from 57 to 69. So, and then our air fuel is pretty damn good. It's pretty flat. We got a few things I gotta fix. We got a little blip here. We got a little rich spot here, and then it goes a little lean, then comes kind of back. So definitely have a few things to fix. But again, this is just a base map. Like this is what you would get if I bench flashed it or if you mailed your ECU to me. This is basically what the gains you would be looking at. So we also lowered the fans. The fans now kick on at about 197 degrees Fahrenheit and they kick off around 188, 189 degrees Fahrenheit. We got rid of the exhaust servo box. And the other cool thing about these two is now whatever you leave the bike, whatever you turn the bike off with, as far as your traction control, that's what it starts with. So normally these bikes, they reset, they kick back on to TC setting 1. And now let's say you turn the bike off and you had it off, then when you start the bike back up, it's off automatically. So kind of saves you some of that hassle. So anyway, I'm gonna do some tuning now and fix all these little things. Partial throttle looked pretty good, but again, there's some areas that I need to fix. So I'm gonna spend some time doing all that. And then we'll see what the final product looks like. Run we got here is actually going to be run 7, this green run. We have a bench flash slash base map, and then we have a final number here. So just so you know, green is final, blue is the bench flash, and then red is the stock run. So all in all, we picked up a little bit here in the mid-range with the tune. Let's get a, let's get this here. So we picked up about 3 wheel here from the bench flash to the final. And overall, we picked up about 5 horsepower right here in this mid-range, about 7,000 RPM. And as we go up, we start picking up power more and more as we get up to the top end here. So we gained an additional, was that about 5 wheel. About 5 wheel and about 2 foot-pounds of torque. So 5 wheel horsepower and about 2 foot-pounds of torque that we were able to pick up. Now we're running 13.28. It's just a smidge on the lean side, but I went ahead and added a couple of percentage of fuel up here up top. I threw that into the bike, but again, I'm not gonna keep beating on the bike when there's no need to do that. So same thing with this 8500. We have a little bit of a lean spot here, added a little bit of fuel, cleaned it right up. We'll clean it right up and send him on his way. So all in all, very happy with these numbers with not that much done to it. This is a little bit more than I was expecting. I was expecting about 180 to 181 at the final. So very happy with these results. Very, very happy. The bike did fantastic. So I'm gonna go ahead and dress it all back up and let the customer take it on out.